Your business may have virtualised one or two areas of IT. There are real cost savings to be made by virtualising the entire IT environment. As well as managing the rampant growth of data, virtualisation is increasingly being used to save labour and costs, manage storage arrays, and even disaster recovery. Smart storage has many benefits businesses that don't virtualise may miss.
So on virtualisation then, we've spoken briefly about we've mentioned the V7000. What's next for virtualisation? What's the vision for virtualisation for IBM, say?
I think as time's progressing, we're wanting to get more out of the storage that we have. Traditionally, you have the option to look at your application need. Is it a block-based application demand, or is it file-based? And as we go forward in the future, we want to simplify that and allow clients to, on demand, understand their requirements and address those. So with the V7000, we now have the facility to leverage unified storage. So if a customer needs a portion of their business to be managed as file system, we can represent a C drive available to the community so they can dump their files and back those up appropriately. If we need to address block-based representation up to application to give better performance, we can do that. And simplifying that for a client by having, again, back to the very simple graphical user interface, 5 clicks to set up a file system backup repository is a nice, easy way to do so.
So it seems like it's never been an easier time for us to address our storage solutions. So what are the consequences really if we don't? What's going to happen?
I think what you'll see is if you don't virtualise your storage environment, you'll see growth that starts to become a bit more rampant. You start to see underutilisation of environments. I think there's a Gartner study recently that says about 55% of storage is actually used. So that's a 45% chunk. That's a lot of data that's not being used. So you see things like that. You see organisations spending more time in analysing the data and requiring more storage administrators. So that's what we want to try and get away from and automate these processes.
I think you also miss out on some really interesting opportunities. One of the new things that's possible with virtualisation is some astounding disaster recovery scenarios. Today, an awful lot of organisations build 2 identical data centres. So, you know, they've got server 1, 2, 3 here, and they've got array 1, 2, 3 here, and they've got that completely replicated in another location. So now what virtualisation now lets you do is build that disaster recovery site without the replica hardware. So you don't have to go and buy 2 of everything. You make some arrangements with a service provider and they can carry on your business without replica hardware. Now there's a 50% CapEx saving straight off the bat from virtualisation. So, you know, by all means, go and chat to your CFO and tell them that you're doing things the old expensive way, or go into the CFO and say, hey mate, we've just virtualised and we've got 50% less CapEx. Which is going to make the CFO happier?